Now, back to the interview from a few minutes ago with Barnes, Leslie, and Jimmy. The best of the morning X. 99X.
Got a couple people calling in that want to say hey to you. Jeff?
Yeah.
Hey, Jeff,
how y'all doing?
You're on with Tommy Chong.
Hey, Tommy, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing fine. How you doing, man?
Outstanding.
What's up?
I just wanted to ask you a question.
Sure.
What are the chances of you and Cheech getting back together, perhaps?
A reunion. The Cheech Chong reunion tour.
They asked Cheech that question, and he says probably when hell freezes over.
Really?
That relationship did not end amicably.
Well, it ended surprisingly more than anything. I didn't even know we were broke up until I went to the last Cheech and Chong movie, and I wasn't in it.
Well, seriously, what
it was Eric Roberts.
You knew at that time.
Yeah.
What was it was Cheech and Eric Roberts. Interesting.
It didn't sound as good. Cheech and Roberts?
Yeah. No.
Or Cheech and Don Johnson. Cheech changed. He wanted to quit. He wanted to be invited to the parties that we'd never get invited to.
The Hollywood parties?
Yeah. And he was hanging with Geraldo Rivera, and he wanted to be straight. He went to college, and he got a degree in pottery or something.
Pottery?
Yeah, pottery. Uh-huh.
And he's,
When was the last time you talked to him?
About 2-3 years ago.
Who would play Tommy Chong in a movie? If there was to be a movie about your life, who would play you?
I think that's an easy answer.
Jerry Garcia, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, at one time.
At one time.
Jerry and I had a look-alike thing going.
Really? How about Woody Harrelson?
Nah, he smokes a lot, but...
You ever smoke with him?
No, not yet.
Yeah.
I'm sure he would anytime.
Yeah.
Rosie?
He's 24/7.
I smoke with Willie, though.
Willie Nelson?
Yeah.
Man,
all right.
You guys keep pace, I'm sure, nicely.
It was fun. It was. We had a nice moment together. We did a Hank Williams Jr. video.
Yeah. You guys were responsible for some of the key catchphrases of the 70s.
Absolutely.
Let's see, what was it? Dave's Not Here. That was one of the most repeated scenes that I can ever remember. What were some of the other...
Well, the one I see all the time was in Beavis and Butthead when they go dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun, and they almost go dun-dun-dun.
Yes.
And then he starts going faster, right?
Are you a
Slaps him.
Beavis and Butthead fan?
Yeah.
Or what about South Park?
Big South Park fan.
Hey, Robert, you're on with Tommy Chong.
Tommy, how are you doing?
Good. How you doing, Robert?
I'm great. Listen, I just wanted to tell you, just to honor you a little bit, that I'm 42 years old. I grew up in high school in the early 70s, listening to all your albums and quoting all your lines, and so did my wife. And we've got a 4-month-old baby, and every time we're breastfeeding her, and every time that Katrina, my wife, sort of gets ready to be done with a particular session, she'll tell our little daughter, Ellie, the snack bar will close in 5 minutes. And I just want you to know that the lines live on.
That's funny. Ladies and gentlemen, the snack bar closed 5 minutes.
Awesome.
After that, we close. Okay, man. Kiss that little baby for me.
All right, thanks, guys.
See you, Robert.
Bye.
Tommy, you joked about the breakup between Cheech and yourself. Seriously, what did happen? I mean, did all of a sudden you guys just didn't see eye to eye anymore and you said... That's it? And he said, that's it, and you walked your separate ways?
It was the 80s. The thing is, when you do movies, it's a whole different ball of wax.
And was it an ego thing? Was it a...
Yeah, it was all of that. It
was everything.
I think, looking back, I think if I had have included Cheech in on the directing part of the movie.
Because you dominated all those movies. You directed them, and you wrote them. And
Yeah. And I shared everything, like all the albums, Cheech, it was always Cheech and Chong.
Was it a 50-50 partnership financially?
Always financially,
and
every way.
You wrote him?
Yeah, I wrote...
You wrote him to be the star in a lot of the movies.
Yes, but it wasn't the same. See, he directed it as much as I did, because it was in an improvisational form. And if I had have acknowledged that, like the Coen brothers do, when they do their films.
Right.
If I think myself that he couldn't have quit because he would have said, he's quitting his own job. But the fact that I was the director and I used that power, I had that power, then he became an employee, and then he became like...
he resented you.
Yeah, because he knew that he wrote and directed as much as I did.
Right. Do you feel bad for not giving him the credit?
No, he not really. Well, what happened was, because it becomes a power struggle in Hollywood. The director has the final say.
Right.
And I needed the final say. Up in Smoke, was directed by Lou Adler. He never really directed it. It was Cheech and I directed it. We wrote it, we directed it. But Lou Adler got all the credit, all the money.
You decided after that, you know what, I can do this and I can do it better.
That's right. You know, I really, you know, Cheech and I are really doing it. And I knew that I was always going to share with Cheech. You know, I would never, you know, cut him out, you know. But I forgot about the credit part, you know.
Right.
It's very tough in creative endeavors to have more than one final decision maker. There really has to be. You can't really do comedy by committee.
No.
So when you were on Nash Bridges, how were the feelings between the two of you when you did the Nash Bridges episode?
Strained.
It was
very,
strange.
very strange. It was strange more than anything. I hung out there for a week waiting for us to get together, and he always had something to do. You know.
Well, why do they even invite you on then? I mean,
ratings. Have a big Cheech and Chong reunion.
Now, I think I read somewhere that he did invite you over to his pad or something at some point.
Yeah.
And
but it was the last night of the shoot, and he had the driver wait for me outside. You know, well, with the motor running. You know,
what was it? I mean, it must be like you know, a husband and wife who haven't seen each other in 10 years. It must have, the conversation in his house must have been.
It was very.
Hi, so how are you? Hey, good.
Yeah, it was strained. It was very strained. It was like weird. It was weird. Yeah, it was just like an ex-wife. You know, because you know you hear, you know, like Cheech and I, you know, we were so close, but not then. You know, he was telling me about, you know, well, you know, he's doing this and doing that, and he's really getting along with his life. You know,
if he was here right now, what would he say caused the split up? Because obviously you have from your point of view what happened. Would he say, well, you know, Tommy, man, you know.
This interview isn't over. More after a quick break. You can also find it and more on the Morning X with Barnes and Leslie podcast. You're inside the best of the Morning X.